For several nights, strange things were happening in Derbent. Fresh graves had been disturbed. At night, eerie sounds echoed from the village well. Some villagers even claimed to have seen a shadow, drifting from the graveyard toward the village. Terrified, the villagers turned to the only authority they trusted, Judge İsmail Efendi. As he listened to their stories, a cold fear crept into his heart, but fear alone could not stop him. As a judge of the empire, he had a duty to investigate, no matter how dark the truth might be. Judge İsmail Efendi set out with 2 officers and arrived in Derbent shortly after. Their first stop was the village cemetery. What they found was chilling. Several graves were uncovered. Some had been completely dug up. One gravestone caught his eye. It read, "Petar, 20 years old, died of tuberculosis. May he rest in peace." The villagers insisted this was where the shadow had come from. They begged him to open the grave. And when they did, İsmail Efendi stepped back in horror. The body was perfectly intact. Petar's eyes almost seemed alive. His teeth, long and sharp. His fingers, covered in dried blood. His lips, stained with something dark and old. The villagers whispered only one word, "Varkolak." İsmail Efendi ordered the grave to be closed immediately. But the fear had already taken root. The villagers, desperate and shaken, turned to a man who lived at the edge of the village, Father Georgi, the priest of a long-abandoned stone church. He was said to hold forgotten knowledge. And when he heard the tale, his voice was grave. "This is the work of a Varkolak," he said. "A restless spirit has possessed the dead. But don't worry. With the proper ritual, we can put an end to this." That night, under the pale moonlight, the villagers gathered once more. Fear was in their bones, but hope had returned. Father Georgi and the local imam stood side by side. 2 faiths united for a single purpose. Petar's grave was opened for the final time. A wooden stake was driven deep into his heart. Blessed salt was placed in his mouth. Prayers filled the night sky. The well was sealed with more prayers. And then, silence. True silence. İsmail Efendi documented everything. Every whisper. Every ritual. Every fear. His report was sent to the capital, Constantinople. And weeks later, it was printed in the official newspaper of the empire. In a village under the district of Tırnova, after the dead body of a young man caused disturbances among the people, an intervention was carried out by both Muslim scholars and a Christian priest. Following the ritual, peace was restored to the village. All citizens are reminded to observe proper burial customs and religious rites moving forward. The people of Derbent never forgot. From that day on, every burial was carried out with solemn prayer and sacred care. But still, when the wind blows through the trees at night, some say, you can hear the faint sound of footsteps moving from the graves toward the village.